Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 81 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We're going to pick two random SoulsBorne bosses, and in honor of Halloween this week, the two bosses will dress up as Halloween floats, or Halloween decorations, rather. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. And whoever makes the best Halloween decoration will be the winner. Most of these bosses won't even have to dress up. They'll just have to show up. And then that's pretty much it. The Amygdala is pretty much a shoo-in. But, yeah. I think that's pretty simple and easy and fun. And, you never know who we're going to get here. So, fun times. Fun times all around. And we all love Halloween. So, yeah, that sounds good to me. The battlefield has been cleared. It can house any and all SoulsBorne bosses, and it has housed all of them at least once in a SoulsBorne Battle Royal. This little generator that I've created has almost 100 bosses in it and some special spots, which created the aforementioned Battle Royal and a triple threat match a few weeks ago. So anything can happen in SoulsBorne Battles of the Death. We're going to stop this wheel. And we're going to see who is entering the battlefield from the east side. I don't know. I just made that up. So they're coming in from the east side, I guess. All right. In the red corner on SoulsBorne Battles of the Death, we have the Nameless King, my arch nemesis. Yes, the Nameless King, a boss so infamous in my history that even my girlfriend remembers his name. That and the Twin Princes. She remembers many, many fights as I was trying to beat them for the first time. Twin Princes took about 4 days, I think, for me to beat, and the Nameless King took about a week. So, yeah. Nowadays, it doesn't take anything at all, really, for me to beat the Nameless King. But yeah, fun times with the Nameless King. But I love him, though. He's one of my favorite bosses now. But at the time, if I could have literally gotten my hands around my neck, I would have snapped his neck, or at least I would have tried. He probably would have murdered me, but that's beside the point. Anyways, one of my favorite bosses now, for sure. The Nameless King is always a formidable adversary, and always a fun boss to land on in SoulsBorne Battles to Death. Plenty of formidable opponents for him to, sorry about that, to square up against. So we're going to take this wheel for another spin. We are going to take this wheel for another spin, and we are going to see who the opponent is going to be for the Nameless King. And I am very intrigued at the thought of some of these bosses going up against Nameless King. As a matter of fact, Nameless King was in one of the original episodes of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. Yeah, it was against the Guardian Ape, episode 16. That's a pretty good fight, too. That is a pretty good fight, too. So, assuming we don't land on the Guardian Ape again, because that would mean I'd have to spin again. We can't do rematches here. We don't do that. So, we have the Nameless King on one end of the battlefield, and on the other end, we have Dark Beast Parl. Oh my goodness. Parl is almost taking up permanent residency in SoulsBorne Battles to the Death. He's been in so many fights lately. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of appearances for Dark Beast Parl. Might be time for him to take a break, I think. Might be time for him to take a break. All right. I guess the fight is set. We are going to go to the contractually obligated bio, so let's have a look at the Nameless King. The Nameless King. The Nameless King, my arch nemesis. I said it before, I'll say it again. a boss so infamous in my history that my girlfriend remembers his name, because it took me 1 full week to defeat him the first time I played Dark Souls 3. But aside from that, slightly less important than that, the Nameless King is the firstborn son of Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, who you may remember as the final boss of the original Dark Souls. He resided in Anor Londo as one of the deities during the Age of Fire, and was thus worshipped by the humans as a god of war. During the war against the dragons, the Nameless King took part in the fighting alongside his father Gwyn and Dragon Slayer Ornstein, and they used sunlight to create lightning spears, which damaged dragon scales. He fancied himself a dragon slayer and imbued his sword spear with lightning, and even began creating his armor out of the scales of his prey. Ornstein would go on to become his first knight, and the Nameless King would go on to create his own covenant as the Warriors of Sunlight. After Gwyn left to link the First Flame, the throne then passed on to the Nameless King, and the king would go on to follow his father's beliefs and try to rule in his father's stead the same way his father did. But unfortunately, his reign was marked with catastrophes. The 4 kings of Anor Londo were corrupted by the dark power of Darkstalker Koth, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, and they started to wreak havoc upon the City of Gods. And following Knight Ortorius' failure to defeat the Dark Race, the gods had no choice but to flood the city and sacrifice all the humans within. Anor Londo itself became a dangerous place when a group of cultists began targeting the clan of Gwyn and their kind. And also, Seath the Scaleless started losing his mind. And he transformed his archives into a prison, and then he started kidnapping the Maidens of Guinevere to carry out experiments on them. So Anor Londo was a real fun place during this time. Which I guess makes it no great surprise that the Nameless King basically decided, screw this, I'm going to sacrifice everything and go live with the dragons. So he basically sacrificed everything, and he allied himself with the dragons. And to the other deities of Anor Londo, this was sacrilege in the worst way. So he was dethroned and exiled from the city, and then all of his statues were destroyed, and he was just looked upon in infamy. But before leaving Anor Londo, the Nameless King left his Sunlight Blade Miracle and his ring on Gwyn's empty tomb as a final farewell, still paying homage to his father. And he still watched closely over his Warriors of Sunlight. He believed very strongly in them, and he wasn't going to abandon them. By the time Dark Souls 3 rolled around, the Nameless King had taken part in countless battles, and he fought them alongside his trusted Stormdrake that they had developed a very close relationship, and they considered each other comrades in arms, and they were very, very close. The early inhabitants of Lothric found themselves having to become dragon slayers in order to survive, so they turned to the Nameless King for help, and he in turn gave them the tools that they needed to defeat the wyverns. The citizens also learned to use his miracles and his lightning spells to continue to fight off the dragons, and the cult of the Nameless King would still be prevalent until the last days of the kingdom. You can find one of the altars right outside the military barracks. And some of the Knights of the Kingdom still appear to be part of the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. Other than that, my rivalry with the Nameless King is very, very well known if you've watched anything on my channel at all. Haha! Beat Nameless King or bust nothing, baby! 1 try! First try, ever. There was no other tries. Like I said, it took me a week the first time I played Dark Souls 3 to defeat him. Took me 4 days to beat the Twin Princes. Those are the 2 that my girlfriend remembers. The Twin Princes and the Nameless King. And yeah, those were very, very frustrating times. But nowadays, Nameless King is definitely one of my favorite bosses. He is such an awesome boss. And of course, now I've played the game so many times that, you know, when I did the No Estus run, I stretched out the game by going out into Archdragon Peak and just playing a little bit longer, and I fought the Nameless King, and it didn't take me that many tries to beat him. I don't remember how many tries it took, but can probably put that on the screen as I sort that out. But it wasn't that bad, so I find him fun to fight now, but back then, not so much. It was just such a nightmare. But he is still considered to be one of the tougher bosses in all of Dark Souls, so whenever the Nameless King pops up in SoulsBorne Battles to the Death, it's certainly no jokes are to be had when the Nameless King is around. According to the Spark Hunter badge, Dark Beast Parl might be related to or might be Archibald himself, a hunter who was mentioned who created special weapons for the Healing Church using the electricity generated by dark beasts. At some point, Parl was captured and placed in the Hypogean jail, which is obviously where you find him in the game. He's at the bottom, and that is where you fight him. Parl is an aggressive beast. He generates electricity. He is very difficult to fight, but he is somewhat fragile, surprisingly. So that's something that works in your favor. When he gets down to about 25% health, he will enter a second phase where he will become more aggressive and generate even more electricity. So that's fun. If you manage to stagger Parl, it will lose all of its electricity until it's able to recharge itself. So that's a strategy worth keeping in mind. I think I saw in the trivia that Parl is a beast that was designed solely by Miyazaki, so that's pretty cool, because I think Parl is an excellent boss design, and just a very cool boss, very aggressive, just an ass kicker. I mean, you look at freaking Dark Beast Parl, man, and that's the stuff of nightmares right there. Like a giant hairy beast generating electricity. Yeah, it's not really the kind of thing you really want to be crossing paths with. But Dark Beast Parl is yeah, an interesting sight to behold, that's for sure, and certainly not a boss to take lightly. I think we can all agree that Dark Beast Parl is a worthy pick, a worthy adversary in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. So yeah, it's not a good day if you come across Dark Beast Parl in your normal life, but it's a good day if you come across Dark Beast Parl in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death and you don't have to fight him. So that's basically my opinion on that. On the surface, you might think that this is a pretty good fight, but I think if you look a little closer at it, probably not. Parl, I mean, obviously if you really look at it closely enough, you'll see that Parl, with his lightning powers, probably won't have that much effect on the Nameless King. And Parl is also notoriously fragile, and the Nameless King is definitely not. So I think that the Nameless King has a distinct advantage and probably will win this fight pretty handily, I think. So yeah, that's my verdict. I think the Nameless King wins this fight hands down and puts away Parl without very much trouble at all. So that's pretty much how I feel about that, and I feel that way regardless of whether he has oh crap, I forgot the name of his wyvern. Shoot. But whether he has the wyvern or not, or whether it's just one-on-one, I'm pretty sure Nameless King has this one pretty much handled. But that is just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments. And with that, yet another edition of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death draws to a close. RobertBlanchardBooks.com if you're interested in the award-winning Roar of a Dragon series. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter, all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Dark Souls Remastered No Estus run. We are still fighting our way through the Demon Ruins, and I think this past week Yeah, I think I'm fighting a gaggle of capra demons. I think that's what's going on this past week on the show. So, yeah, if you want to check that out, that should be a great deal of fun. And back in the archives, I have the Elden Ring, No Crimson Flask run, right? That's what it's called, right? I have the Sekiro No Healing Gourd run. I have the Dark Souls 3 No Estus run, and the Dark Souls 3 No Level Up run, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Whole bunch of Bobby's World Hunger Games for you to check out, and the Your Father's Story videos. I just put a fourth one up last week, so you may want to check that out. Answering questions from a book as a way of speaking to my sons about life and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So if you find that interesting, go check that out. Leave a like, subscribe, notifications, and all that nonsense. I appreciate the love and support very, very much. As always, the channel continues to grow bit by bit here and there, and I think that's pretty much where I'm happy to be. So I don't know what else to say about that. I'm just happy that things are going on the right track. So I don't really, I have no complaints about that whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it. So I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See y'all Eve Alive, y'all. Bye.
Hey, boss.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered, have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, ReadersFavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon, and the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.